$4.50. That is what a full sit-down lunch costs in Colombia right now. Soup, a main course, fresh juice, and sometimes dessert. $4.50 for a restaurant meal. And Colombia is not even the cheapest country in this breakdown. South America carries a reputation for being more expensive than Southeast Asia or Central America. And for some countries on the continent, Chile and Brazil in particular, that reputation is earned. But South America contains enormous variation. Several countries on the continent offer a daily travel budget that sits at or below $40 for a genuinely comfortable experience. Here is how each stacks up. Colombia has changed dramatically over the past 15 years, and cities like Medellin and Cartagena have become genuinely popular international destinations. Medellin in particular draws long-term visitors for its combination of permanent spring-like weather. The city sits at around 1,500 meters elevation, giving it year-round temperatures in the low to mid-20s Celsius, excellent food, and relatively low cost of living. Hostel private rooms in Medellin run $15 to $25 per night. The menu del dia, the set lunch served at sit-down restaurants across Colombia, runs $4 to $6. Coffee, which Colombia produces in abundance, costs under $1. A typical comfortable day in Medellin runs $25 to $35. Cartagena, as a coastal tourist hub, pushes higher. $35 to $50 per day is more realistic there. Peru is the essential South American destination for travelers interested in both history and natural scenery. Lima has hostel private rooms for $15 to $25 per night in well-located neighborhoods. Street food and market meals, ceviche at a mercado, lomo saltado at a cheap local restaurant, anticuchos from a street grill, cost $2 to $5. Cusco, the base for visiting the Sacred Valley and Machu Picchu, runs higher due to its status as a major international tourism hub. Expect $40 to $60 per day there. The Machu Picchu entrance fee is significant and has been changing in recent years, so the current cost and booking requirements should always be verified through the official Peruvian government ticketing site well in advance of the trip. Outside of Machu Picchu-related costs, Peru as a whole runs $30 to $45 per day. Bolivia has held the title of cheapest country in South America for years and maintains it. La Paz, one of the world's highest capital cities at approximately 3,600 meters above sea level, has hostel private rooms for $10 to $15. Street food at the markets runs 50 cents to $2. Bus travel between major cities is extremely cheap, with routes to the Uyuni Salt Flat region costing around $8 to $15. The Uyuni Salt Flats themselves, the world's largest salt flat and one of the most visually extraordinary landscapes on Earth, are typically visited through a 3-day 4-wheel drive tour departing from the town of Uyuni, costing around $45 to $70 total, including accommodation and meals on the tour. Bolivia, overall, runs well under $30 per day outside of major tour costs. Ecuador is compact, easy to navigate, and considerably cheaper than its reputation suggests. Quito, the capital, sits at 2,800 meters and has a remarkably well-preserved colonial historic center that is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Hostel private rooms in Quito run $12 to $20. Meals at local restaurants, the almuerzo, which is Ecuador's version of the set lunch, runs $2 to $4. The Galapagos Islands, while located within Ecuador, operate on a completely different budget. The national park entrance fee alone is $100, and daily costs there run $150 to $250 or more. The Galapagos belong in a different budget conversation. Mainland Ecuador, including the avenue of the volcanoes and coastal towns, runs $25 to $40 per day. Argentina presents a complicated budget picture because of its economic situation, which has seen significant changes in recent years. It is worth researching current conditions carefully before planning a budget there, as the gap between official exchange rates and parallel rates has historically created a very different real cost of travel, depending on how cash is managed. Under favorable conditions, Argentina can be extraordinary value. Buenos Aires with its architecture, food culture, and nightlife at very low prices. Under less favorable conditions, it can be more expensive than expected. Current travel forums and recent traveler reports are the best source for up-to-date guidance on this. Chile is the outlier in South America, similar to Costa Rica in Central America. It is a developed, expensive country by regional standards. Santiago has accommodation, food, and transport costs closer to southern Europe than to neighboring Bolivia or Peru. A realistic daily budget in Chile is $60 to $100. Patagonia, the famous trekking region in the south, runs significantly higher due to park fees, transport costs, and limited infrastructure. Chile is worth visiting but belongs in a separate budget conversation. The strategies that keep costs low across South America mirror what works elsewhere. Overnight buses are the workhorse of budget travel here. Long distances between cities are covered by comfortable overnight coaches with reclining seats and sometimes meals included for a fraction of what a flight costs and with accommodation effectively folded in for that night. Eating the set lunch, which goes by different names in different countries but exists across the continent, is the single best daily food strategy. It is always the cheapest sit-down meal available and is almost always the freshest, since restaurants turn over the full menu daily. The verdict on $40 a day across South America: very achievable in Bolivia and Ecuador, comfortable in Colombia and Peru outside of peak tourist areas, and tight but possible in parts of Brazil. Chile and the Galapagos require substantially higher budgets. The continent as a whole rewards slow travel more than almost anywhere else. The distances are vast, moving is expensive, and the best experiences tend to come from staying long enough to settle into a place rather than rushing through it. Travel is best when it is both affordable and safe. Always research current conditions, trust instincts on the ground, and check the official government travel advisory from your home country, alongside any visa or entry requirements before booking. Both can change frequently.